Pac-Man map after that stuff.
But Enoch says that it has portals. So, like, I'm not going to claim I know what the creator made in an area that we can't go verify. I'm not going to throw out 99% of empirical evidence so I can speculate. That's what Glovers do. I love you, bro, and I'm glad you're looking for information. I hope you look for it. It'd be cool to figure out what it is and see what it is. But my point is very simple. That does in no way prove the Earth's a ball. That is dumb. To act like the fact we falsify the radius gets thrown out the window because we're going to go just skate past it is ridiculous, bro. Like, there's nothing that can be done to make the Earth a ball with the radius of 3959 again. It's already been falsified. It isn't a ball with that radius.
So you think the sun could be going? If we measured it and it came out the ball stats, you'd go with the portal thing?
Well, for one, I know that the entire ball was reverse engineered based on the sky. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, it's a reification fallacy. Like, they literally looked at the sky and then they made up the ball Earth. That's how they made the ball Earth up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, so it's kind of like you're kind of following one of their tricks. I'm sure this room will amp this up. I do find it funny, though. I bet a bunch of them don't even want to talk about it. And I heard the one guy jump in and attack you. Like, you're not going to do anything. Because they're afraid of any information that might poke a hole.
They think they already got the numbers and the data for that subsolar point thing. You're making me start to second guess it, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, this is not the right route. And I'm not scared of anything. And that's what this room I want to try to say. Like, dude, are you kidding me? I'm literally not scared of any of the information. That's why I'm a flat earther. But I just know that's an inefficient way. Like, because we can't fully explain things. Using polarization of lenses, you can actually isolate, like, an apparent and an actual location, right? There could be a dark body up there. These people aren't open-minded enough to actually entertain possibilities. That's why I don't fall for their trick of trying to get me to speculate a straw man flat earth model, right? Because we have to be intellectually honest and acknowledge what we don't know. But I can also acknowledge what I do know, and that is that the earth is flat.
I do use the argument, though, that you shouldn't look at the sky to tell what shape the earth is.
Jeremy, fuck off. Go back to the globe, Jeremy. Don't come crawling back, man. Well, you're not welcome right here, Jeremy.
Well, we don't even have the numbers. We don't even have the data.
Only joking, Jeremy. Only joking, mate. But you know what? WITSIT heard you, and WITSIT, before you came into the room, I was complimenting you, and somebody said about what happened between you and Nathan, and I said, I've never got on with Nathan Thompson. I've never really liked him. And I said, I've always got on with you. You're a really good person, and you do come across really genuine and better than most of others. And I've always complimented in your DMs, telling you that, so you know it's true. But the thing is, these I forgot my point now. Jeremy, defending the globe.
He called. Hold on.
Oh yeah, that was it. I remember now. Now I started complimenting Nathan Thompson. No, Nathan Oakley. Sorry, and everyone started saying, "Oh, you correct, it's like these people in here can't stand a bit of complimentary towards anyone. I've complimented Jem Panda. I've complimented everybody, like I've said. But as soon as I compliment someone you don't like, it's always a problem. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, well, they're just biased, bro. Like, if I come in here and I talk about something not related to the flat earth at all, like, everyone in the room disagrees with me instinctively. You know, it's just like it's a cogdis thing.
Well, they know who you are.
It can ever be held in any sort of credibility or in any sort of way. You know what I mean? And you've overcompensated by basically, being very as open as you have and all the lives you've done and going around there and just generally speaking to people on a level. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a massive glaring difference between the way you approach people in public and the way that Nathan seems very, like, aggressive and very, like, very, very condescending, but you seem very open and very compassionate and very, and knowledgeable. And so you can have an intellectual exchange with. People have a problem with that. I don't get how you can have a problem with anyone that just wants to have an intellectual exchange. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Like we should all support this, because if we can't freely exchange ideas, we're screwed. But thanks for the kind words, bro.
You were right, though. I do hate when people say that this can't happen on a flat Earth, and I guess they could with the portals, and that'd be something for you to think about. I don't know,
dude. The Earth is amazing.
Open your mind,
bro,
Jeremy.
right?
You got to be open-minded, Jeremy. Portals.
Well, this is the truth. The Earth is amazing, and we actually don't know what's going on in the quote-unquote heavens, okay, the area above us. We literally don't. These people here don't have any idea, okay? They see cartoons, they have mathematical fairy tales, and they blindly believe them, and then they actually conflate that into objectivity. That's their own right to do so, but if you're being intellectually honest, we need to stay with what we can actually empirically validate. Like, that's why I'm a flat earther, because if you actually stick with just empirical evidence, right, there is none for the globe Earth. It requires a blind belief about what happens up in the sky and making up stories and reifying sphericity, and it's like the least adequate way to go about it. Like, that's their only argument, by the way, right? You know how they always want to turn away from the surface and they want to say, but look, this couldn't happen. Look at what I say is happening in the sky. I have no proof for it. But if you assume what I'm saying in the sky is true, then this couldn't happen on a flat Earth. That's their only argument, literally, in 2021.
Shroomy, you look delicious, mate. You look delicious, Shroomy. Yeah, that's well said, well put there.
Yeah, they both know it. I mean, they're getting more and more frustrated every day. They're sick of flat earthers as a whole in general. I think they just want the thing to go away so they can get onto UFOs and other subjects. They can't handle the fact that they've been lied to, and I'm reminding them every single day, and it's like they just don't want to accept their religion is not true.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a telltale sign that someone is in a vulnerable position of speculation if they have to vehemently attack anyone that vocalizes an opposing view, right? Like, I don't care when people talk about the globe Earth. Like, I actually find it very entertaining that people think these fairy tales are real. I love it. I think it's hilarious. I love to just ask them questions about their own religion. I want to hear what they think and why they think it. But they don't. They think that we shouldn't be allowed to have our opinions and vocalize them. They actually advocate for the YouTube censorship. Most of these people in here, every time I ask them, do you think that PayPal should have been allowed to kick me off of their payment processing platform because I'm a flat earther? They'll say, yeah, they're a private company. Yeah, YouTube's a private company. They actually advocate the censorship of us.
As discrimination or something. But yeah, that's definitely not right.
No, yeah, it's crazy, and we should be able to all agree on that as a mandatory minimum, but this room can't do that because they have to shut us down because they can't debate it.
I was going to say a lot of their arguments, almost all of them, are based on some other sort of presupposition or speculation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. Like, dude, PayPal has nothing to do with content. Nothing to do with. They're not even a content platform. Like, how would they be? Why would they say, "Oh, we're gonna kick you off because you're a flat earther"? You know, like that's the craziest thing, dude. We live in a crazy time where the government's taking over, and monopolistic companies are working with them to do so, and no one cares because they disagree with us.
They got the Bilderberg group going. Yeah, they're heavily intertwined.
They kick you off, but they didn't kick off Nathan Oakley or somebody like that.
I don't know. You ask them that.
Oh, it doesn't sound like
it's probably because I don't just talk about flat Earth. I talk about a whole lot of deception. I don't know
they
why.
didn't kick you off for being a flat earther if they allow other flat earthers to be on there.
They kicked Jaron off also. So yeah, they kicked me off and refused to tell me why.
Ah, so you don't know why.
Well, it was right after I started a YouTube channel and was on Globebusters. Literally the week after.
But they didn't kick off everybody who's a flat earther. So
no, I'm saying you ask them why they pick certain people out. Maybe they think certain people are more threats than others. I don't know.
No, you're not.
Okay, well, that's a cool story. Thanks for your opinion.
Now, WITSIT, did you know that Moyek here, the one you're talking to, fires radar off the moon, off the moon reflectors? That they went to the moon in 1969 and put a reflector on there. Did you know that?
Wow, it's interesting. Moyok, do you agree we don't actually need the reflectors to do that? Because the official story is they did that before that.
First off, let me correct your eminent resource of information, a.k.a. Chemo.
Go on, just get to your point. Did you fire radar off the moon or not?
No, Chemo, you are interrupting me. You can tell that because you're speaking while I'm speaking.
You're spiraling, dude.
Now, I never have done this myself, and I do agree with you that it can be done without the reflectors. However, without the reflectors, you get a nondescript number of photons coming back, not off of the entire surface, whereas you get a very fine return from the reflector.
Oh, how many photons do you get back from the reflector?
I'll call the number.
Yeah, like one.
No, actually, it's over at the measurements done over a period of time, so you get back thousands of measurements.
Okay, so how many do you get back at one time?
Is that relevant?
Yeah, it is actually. And in addition to this, what course of time? How long?
Is that relevant?
Very, very, very relevant. How about you just answer the question? How long?
Oh, 2.4 seconds round trip?
No, you said that they do it for a long period of over a period of time.
I do not know the exact amount of time, but I know.
So you don't. So I don't know. Why would you even be talking about this? Then you don't know anything about it.
Many measurements.
Yeah, how long?
Why is that relevant? Help me out.
Stop asking me why it's relevant. If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know.
Ask me questions if you're not going to ask.
Well, you're making a claim. You're making a claim that you send a radar to a rock that spins in a vacuum. So this is your claim.
And I'd like to point out that by asking him what his intentions are of the answer to the question means that you're already on a defensive where you want to formulate an answer that you wouldn't know whether you want to answer the question or not because whether it's going to strengthen his argument next.
I've already answered the question. I said I don't know.
Look, I know you don't. I know you want to know why he wants to know.
He said he doesn't know, but I'm curious as to why it would be relevant.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason that's relevant is because this is all pseudoscience, okay? And the actual truth is that you have to isolate one specific reading, right? What Globers like to do is just say, well, no, see, we'll just take like a long period and then we'll just throw out the ones that don't work, which is most of them, by the way. Obviously, you haven't researched this. A lot of times you get nothing back. You throw all those out and then you take tons and tons of readings. You get a few times that you get something back and then you say, supposedly get something back, by the way, and then you say, look, this is proof that it's hitting the moon because we just know it is. But the question really is, how much would that position on the Earth change position relative to the Earth during the duration of time that it supposedly takes to get back? How far away does it move?
You tell us.
No, this is your stupid fairy tale claim. You know that the Earth is supposed to be spinning in your fairy tale. So if
an objection, what's your objection?
My objection is that in your fairy tale, the Earth is spinning. So if you take something located on the surface of the Earth, supposedly shoot radar up to the moon, by the time it gets back, it's not in the same position. It's spun away from the moon.
How much is it spun away?
You tell me.
No, you claiming it's doing this. What is it? What is
Wait, no, you're claiming it's doing this because you claim the Earth spins.
It's moved a distance. You must know the distance. You must have
Well, your model claims that the Earth is spinning, dude.
You said you claim because it's moving, there's a approximate distance. What is the actual quantify?
Look, calm down. Look, the laser goes. I'll say this. Look, the laser that goes to the moon and it reflects back. It's pretty much instant. It's speed of light, isn't it? So it's pretty much like even though it's as the Earth's moving, as the light leaves the gun and hits the moon, the Earth is still moving. So you're going to get some sort of deviation, even if it's minuscule. It's there.
Yeah, like over 1,000 meters. Over 1,000 meters difference.
And you're going, how far is the moon? Is it like 100,000 miles? Is it? I've got the distance.
238,000.
238,000 miles. So how fast does light travel, and how fast? What was the delay on that? You can even work out the delay. But the Earth is supposed to be rotating, and the moon has got an elliptical path as well, isn't it? So.
Yeah, my point is that if you're intellectually honest and you're looking at this as if it's evidence, the first thing that you should, if you're actually intelligent, the first thing that you would have to address is the movement. And no one even knows what it is, and they're sitting there saying they know it proved that it hit the moon, and no one's even thought of this. Wow. I thought we were the dumb ones.
You know, when they started questioning you and you got into and you started to debate you, I just thought, yeah, it's over already, because you even invited everybody. You said, oh, well, look, I'm looking for some intellectual debate and exchange. And then somebody came up to you with something, and then you asked one question on it, and you straight away, oh, what do you want to know that for? Well, because you're presenting supposedly some good evidence to why this can only work on a globe, and asking a few questions about it is natural. And for you to be very obtuse and very irresponsive. Not responsive to be open with the information of, as you said, like, oh, I don't know, actually. In fact, maybe I need to investigate this more. That'd be honest, but instead, what do you want to know this for? Oh. Well, because it's your information, isn't it? You're proving something, yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, WITSIT's still here, and he's still anyone who wants to debate. We can easily continue that question or another one and go to the bottom of it. But WITSIT is guilty of being a bit like gish gallopy, but I tend to understand what he's saying, and I think he says it quite well for the amount of time he gets to say something, but.
Yeah, but Brommy, he's talking to two experts
people
in
pretend.
He's talking to two experts
Hold on,
in
one more point. People always pretend that WITSIT Gish Gallops is just to avoid the fact that he's made some common sense when he talks a lot. That's all.
He's talking
What do
over you,
man?
Spurs.
So,
Kimo, why are you lying?
Well, that you've got you and Bizarre who know about sending radios to the moon or signals across land.
I know about radios.
You're always talking about sending radios to the moon. We always argue about sending radar to the moon. That's what you say constantly. So, Brummy, it's not too complicated for Bizarre or Moyak. They should understand what WITSIT is asking.
Yeah, he says, nah, fam, WITSIT wants every intricate detail. Well, whenever you make a claim, you're supposed to know the details. See, I'm just making a point. I've actually already looked into this. But I'm not going to give you guys the answers. Now, what you guys will say is because I don't know them, and you're actually self-projecting the fact that you don't know them. I do know them. That's why I don't believe it. And I'm not gish scalping. I am being hyper-specific to your claim. I'm immediately rebutting your claim with specificity, okay? You were claiming that you shot a radar to the moon 238,000 miles away, presupposing the speed of light. Supposedly you get one photon back every once in a while. Most of the time you get nothing back, and then you exclude the fact that the Earth is actually spinning away from the moon by the time it gets back to it, which means it could not be received at the exact same location.
So where did you get your information from?
Your model.
WITSIT, where did you get your information from on this?
Your model.
Yeah, I know that, but where specifically?
Your model specifically says the Earth is spinning 1,040 miles per hour east at the equator.
You said you looked into it and you read about it. I'm asking you where you did that.
I didn't say I read about it. I said I looked into it. Yeah, I looked into
how
it.
Did you look
and then we did the math.
Okay,
we did the math.
We
did the math.
Not necessary.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The moon is moving away from where you shoot the radar.
How did you look into it? Hold on. He's trying to say the WITSIT. He's trying to say the information you got from the source of information. You sourced this information. That's what you're trying to say to him. You're trying to say that.
I'm just trying to get more. I'm just trying to get some information off him on how he went about getting the information he's got. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking questions.
There are numerous universities that claim to have done this.
Your model. I mean, that doesn't answer my question.
Well, yeah, there are numerous universities that claim that they have done this on your model. So what you have to do is account for what your model claims if we're trying to prove your model.
Just can't engage in an adult way.
But anyway, I think Moya.
No, you're both. Look. Question is
no, stop a second, Brummy. Hold on. Stop.
He wants to know the
Brummy, can you hear me or what? Hold on a second. Brummy, hold on.
What? Sorry.
You're all over the place. You don't need to do that when you don't need to do that. When we've got Bazaar and Moyak, our X-Start radar sender and receivers. Now Moyak was about to ask WITSIT something. About the satellites or the radars or whatever it was.
Yeah, and so did I. I wanted to ask too.
He wants to know where the information that he obtained about the model for him to have that defense about the model. Because he wants to know the actual information he sourced of the model.
That's why, if the experts already know this, not just nitpick everything. We've got Moyak already knows where he gets it from, and Bazaar will know where he gets it from. He's talking about their model. The information based on their model.
Don't worry about it. It's too tedious to have a conversation with you guys.
Whatever. I went to NASA themselves, dude. The funny part is that you guys haven't done it yet, but you know that I'm wrong about it. But I know more about your stupid claim than you know. I went to NASA themselves and read what they claimed about it. You haven't done that. You haven't done the math. You haven't figured it out. You haven't figured out how many times it actually comes back.
What the fuck do you think I'm asking you, you stupid cunt?
Because
what do you think I'm asking you? I'm not claiming anything. I'm asking you.
Okay, well, the answer is I went to NASA, and I don't believe they're stupid fairy tale stories, okay? It doesn't work. They didn't even account for all the variables, and that's your little priesthood. NASA, that's the top notch of $60 million a day.
All
right, fine, okay. It's all right, I'll look it up myself.
Thanks, do it.
You're no help at all.
The other flaw that you have right now, WITSIT, is we've been talking about radar.
I bet right. NASA has a website. I bet NASA has a website cam, right? And I bet nobody actually looks on it. I bet it's got like about the least views compared to Pornhub.
I'd love to contribute, but it's gone out. It's out of control, isn't it?
Well, mate, you got to. Anyway, we've got a super chat so we can calm down in the midst of this. This is from Aussie Globe Head. $5 Australian dollars. WITSIT. Oh. I don't really want to read this, but I suppose I'll read it.
It's all good.
WITSIT, do you miss getting bagged by Thompson every night?
Who is that?
That's just from Aussie Glowbird. You don't have to respond.
No, I don't know who that is. Who is this Thompson guy? I don't know.
Okay. I didn't even look at the mess. I just saw the super chat. No,
it's all good. You can read the insults, dude. I get them all the time.
You know, I've been to McGregor Observatory, where this moon bounce, at least the one I know about, took place. So McGregor Observatory in West Texas. And one thing I also know about you have to remember, if one photon is coming back, that's implying that the spread of this laser, I think, whatever they're shooting back and forth, it's spread so far that you're only getting one photon back. It tells you that in the 2 seconds that it takes to get there and back, a little bit more than 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure that the spread takes up the amount of space that the Earth's actually rotated.
Oh, how often do you not get anything back?
I mean, if you only get one photon back, then that's going to be based on the shooting the entire beam. So.
But how often do you get nothing back?
Well, if you shoot the laser once and you get one photon, then I'm guessing.
No, but how many times do you shoot the laser and get nothing back?
I don't even know how often. What do you mean? How many times you shoot the laser?
You don't always get a photon back.
This is why I say let the experts.
Yeah, but you continuously do it for a minute, and you'll get to the back.
I'd love to, Chemo, but someone needs to get control.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you guys are answering for something. You don't even know what you're talking about. Let Moyak or Bizarre talk about radars. They're the experts.
Well, first off, that's the first thing I wanted to mention is that you keep on talking about photons in your little diatribe there. We've been talking about radar. I guess technically that's a photon, but
yeah, I know that's technically right. So try again.
However, technically, also, then we're not talking about getting a single photon back. We're getting a received signal at a receiver.
No, you get a single photon back.
No, you can hear your voice bounce off the moon. You can say, "Hello, moon," and 2.4 seconds later, you'll hear your say.
Actually, about 1,000 times in a row, you get nothing back.
Radio, you get a nice broad signal.
About 1,000 times in a row, you'll get nothing back, though.
Radio.
Yeah, so here's the deal. You have to presuppose, when you do get a receive signal back, right, 1 out of, let's say, 5,000 times. It's so funny. It's the stupidest argument ever. But say that after 5,000... Yeah, because it's really low. I can't remember the specifics.
You made that number up, though. It has no... you have no...
Do you know the number? Do you know the number?
Yeah. Highly effective communications.
What?
Moon bounce radio. It's a highly effective method of communications.
Wrong.
A 1 in 4,000 chance.
Yeah, something like that.
No, not something like that.
Yeah.
People talk to people off the moon. They bounce it off the moon.
No, they don't. People aren't on the moon, you clown.
They do, and it doesn't require a reflector. It just bounces off.
Oh, there are people on the moon?
I said, you actually listen to anything?
You just said you talked to people on the moon. Yeah, I listened very carefully. That's why I said that.
Bouncing off of the moon. They bounce the signal off of the moon, and it goes to another person on Earth, or even to yourself. You can hear yourself 2 seconds later.
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal. Let me explain something to you guys. Whenever Marconi shot a radio wave, he shot it like right over 2,000 miles, okay, and then he hit his target first time with line of sight assumption. Stop interrupting me. Okay, now not literally meaning that he saw it, but just assuming that the trajectory was consistent with line of sight, it hit the target, and then they said, oh, it must have bounced off the ionosphere, right? Now, we do have an area in the atmosphere, right, that has ionization. So if you are to occasionally receive a radio wave back, how exactly is it that you're validating that it hit the moon?
Because the ionosphere is dependent on the frequency used, and there's only a small range of frequencies that will be affected by the ionosphere. Those happen to be the frequencies that Marconi and his contemporaries would have been using at the time, way back in the dawn of radio communications.
Yeah.
But the moon bounce thing uses frequencies that are way above the possible reflection frequencies of the ionosphere. So
that
you
wasn't
can
my
be pretty
claim. I guess you
sure that-
misunderstood. You misunderstood, obviously. So I'm not saying that it's bouncing off the ionosphere. I'm just explaining where the fairy tale originally came from, and now we're moving forward to now. I'm saying whenever you do, which is like one out of a ton of times, you almost never get anything back. But if you do get something back, how do you validate that it came off of the moon?
Well, you're conflating the laser experiment with the radio or stroke radar experiment. The occasional returns are when you're using the laser experiment, and the laser experiment is quite honestly dependent on the strength of your laser. If you use a powerful enough laser, you will increase the number of returns you get. So you arbitrarily trying to tell us there's 1 in 1,000, 1 in 5,000. It's completely ad hoc.
No, it's not.
And there's no firm evidence for what you're saying.
No,
Because
you're
the
self-projecting
return
because you
is all
still can't answer the
depends-
question.
You're interrupting.
You can't answer the question. There's no firm evidence for what you're saying. How can you validate it hit the moon?
Because you're using very directional equipment, the laser, both the laser and the radio thing use frequencies that use very directional antennas, and if you point them to another part of the sky, you don't get a signal back. If you accurately point them at the moon, you do get a signal back.
This is not true. See,
Plus,
you globe
there
earthers are
other
zealots, and you just
factors
say that.
you can use to determine whether it's the moon or not. You get shift in the
please talk for a
frequency used
fucking hour,
called
dude. Please.
vibration, and you get another effect called Doppler shift due to the relative.
Talk about
motion
just
of
blah,
the,
blah, 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 bro. Say
Well,
one
if you
thing at a
don't-
time, dude.
okay. If you don't want to hear it, fair enough.
I want you to be hyper specific and actually be concise. That's what I want. I want you not to just try to pretend that if you just make a 15 points that aren't actually hyper specific, that then all of a sudden there it's a ball. Okay? I asked you specifically, how do you know that it hits the moon? You said that you said that you shoot it away from the moon, you get nothing back. Then you shoot it at the moon, you get something back. That's just what stupid globers on Discord say because that's just what they think the case would be. It literally isn't the case.
It's not.
So
WITSIT.
then cite it. Cite it.
WITSIT, it's not that because I have done this back in the 90s.
Cite it.
WITSIT, I have done this.
You can't cite it. It doesn't exist. This is the actual
I've
truth.
heard my own voice come back from the moon.
No, you haven't. So
Yeah,
this is the.
it
didn't come back from the moon, bud.
So
Okay.
there you heard it, guys. When you get down to it, WITSIT just resorts to everybody's lying to me.
No, I asked you for a citation. You're appealing to an anecdotal bullshit story where we're just supposed to blindly believe some globe
I'm
zealot.
telling you that I have done this.
I don't
Whether
care what you're telling me. You
whatever
tell me the
package
Earth's a ball.
that
You think you
as,
came from monkeys. You're an idiot. I
Whatever
don't
you
care what.
package that as, it is your problem. But I've done this, and I know what it takes to do this.
Okay, well, you know it, but you don't have any proof for it, so it looks like you just have an anecdotal
Well, then
story.
you are just going to have to rely on me saying what I would do. But why would I lie?
Good question, because you're a zealot. That's why.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll move on now. So you can't cite it because that citation doesn't exist. That's why he immediately had
I
to.
can show
he had
you a
to-
video of somebody going
Why are
to
you
the
interrupting
Goon
me?
Why would he not?
radio station and doing it. It was part of a BBC serial. It was about trains actually, but the train ran past the Goon Hilly radar station, and he stopped off and he talked into a microphone and heard his own voice coming back from the moon. So is that the
right.
citation, or is that not allowed because it's the BBC or some other objection?
Yeah, how about you cite it? And this
What
time,
is a
hey, Bizarre,
citation,
this time you
Wicked?
stop interrupting me. You little gamma. Shut the fuck up,
what would
dude.
qualify as a citation
Oh my God.
that you would accept?
Literally, every time I say 3 words, you interrupt. You're such a douchebag, dude. Okay, so how about you cite it instead of appealing
What
to
does
any...
citing
There
it
you go.
actually
There you go.
mean,
Interrupt me
Wicked?
again.
What does citing it
You're
mean
such a
to
gamma,
you?
bruh. Does
What
anyone like you in
citing
real
mean
life?
to you, Witzit?
Would you like to stop
need
interrupting me?
You need to
You let
respond
me
with
know when you're going to stop
specificity.
interrupting.
Otherwise, we don't know what you require.
Okay. How about you shut the hell up when I'm talking? How about that?
You're
Okay.
not doing that.
Okay,
Witzit, I don't see
so
why
you
should
you
have
made a
special
claim. I'll just talk
privileges.
over you. Then you made me do this.
Why,
So
I don't
you made a
understand why
claim
you should
that
have
in
special
fact
privileges
the
and I
Earth
shouldn't.
is a.
Because
Oh
you're
my
not
God.
you're not sticking to your own rules.
You're just
that you
not going to
want
stop, are
enforce.
you? You're not going to stop, are you? You can't do it.
you're not going to stop either. You're not going to answer any questions. You're not going to tell us what.
I haven't been allowed to try to answer the question, you
You're
idiot.
trying to answer your question, dude. Shut the fuck up.
He's avoiding answering the question.
How am I avoiding it when I can't get 3 words out?
Talk, you
You guys are clowns. Anyway, so whenever you say that you did it and I should just believe you, that's you appealing to some anecdotal claim where I don't blindly believe you. I don't blindly believe governmental agencies. You think I'm going to blindly believe some dude hiding behind anonymity on Discord? How about you cite it, give us the empirical evidence, the actual data that supposedly proves it? Because your claim is that you shot it away from the moon, got nothing back. Then the first time you shot it at the moon, you got something back. I happen to know that this is objectively not true in any way. Oftentimes when you shoot it at the moon, you get nothing back. And sometimes when you shoot it away from the moon, you can get signals back depending on the angle. But if you shoot it too far away from the moon, the angle goes so far away from you, then of course that receiver doesn't receive it because it comes back down at an angle super far away. Now, here's the real question. If there's something solid up there, if there's something physical and solid up there as a container, would that make it come back?
Yes, but then you would have a measurement of the distance to that thing. And if you're supposing that might be a dome, then you would have the wrong distance. You would have the wrong reflection time.
The problem with, so you do agree, let's take it one step at a time. You do agree that if something was solid there, it would come back?
Yes, there is something solid there. It's called the moon, and that's what caused the reflection in the first place.
Or it could be the containment.
Well, it would then have to be suspiciously at the same distance that the moon would be.
Okay, now here's where we get to dismantle that. I'm so glad you got. No, why are you jumping in? I think you're accidentally jumping in. It's not your turn to talk. I think you're jumping back in again. It's not your turn to talk, though.
You shot the radio frequency.
You guys are so scared to hear me talk unimpeded because you know I'm going to dismantle you.
In one specific direction. That's implying that it is only that one object that did the reflection.
I would like for the audience to really take in of how incredibly scared they are to let me fully speak because they know I'm going to dismantle them. So under his own admission, it could be something else solid, but his response and rebuttal was that means the distance would be coincidentally exactly what the moon is. Well, actually, you're presupposing the characteristics of the medium and how long it would take the light to get back, right? Because you're actually determining distance based on the speed of light, correct?
We know what the speed of light is. We measured it here on the surface in a lab. We have a
do you know what the medium is? Do you know what the medium is, though?
Presupposing the medium would say.
Exactly. You lose. Wow, this was so difficult.
We know how the propagation of light varies with medium.
Okay. And does it get slower in denser mediums?
Very, very slightly, yeah.
No, it's not very slightly. Light's propagation changes significantly with very dense mediums.
I just heard we've been able to slow the speed of light down to 4 miles an hour.
Specificity and empirical evidence, but you said that you had empirical evidence that you cannot get this reflection, but you don't. You are just guessing at that. You are just making argument out of no substance that if you did not point a laser or a radio beam at the moon, you wouldn't get a signal. You haven't done this. You haven't.
Look at you trying to run away point. Let me try and repeat it for you because you're such a moron. You're presupposing the characteristics of the medium.
Really done it.
You can't answer the question. Are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium? Are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium? Are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium? Are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium?
Why
are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium by any chance?
Why aren't you correcting WITSIT for talking over people?
Oh, it's so funny you have the audacity to say that after I've been interrupted 30 times.
Just answer the question. Are you presupposing?
They can't answer it.
What's the question, Jeremy?
Are you presupposing the characteristics of the medium?
There is no medium. It's open space.
So yes,
that is a medium, you idiot.
No, it's not. It's a lack of medium, you idiot.
It's not a lack of medium because there's no such thing as a perfect vacuum.
There's nothing there to give the label of medium to.
Oh, there's nothing there, so it's a perfect vacuum?
It's free space.
So it's a perfect vacuum. There's nothing there.
So you're presupposing that there's no medium there.
Well, what could it be then? What is it then, guys?
A medium that is more dense.
What is it, guys?
A medium that's more dense, you clown.
What? How dense? What would it do?
Way more dense than the air down here, you clown.
In this case, what is it doing to the signal?
It's fucking up the times of your photons.
How do you know? How did you verify that?
How do you verify it's not?
We know that
it is.
You presuppose it based on your model, and that doesn't prove shit.
You presuppose it is, and it doesn't prove shit.
No, I don't presuppose anything. I don't invoke
Yes,
this
you
as
are
evidence.
presupposing shit.
Why do you interrupt me every time?
Why are you interrupting me every time? You are presupposing shit just like I am. What's the difference?
I'm not
Showing
presupposing anything.
Yes,
I don't.
you are
You
presupposing
interrupt
shit.
me
You have
every
no
time.
empirical evidence.
Every single time.
You
Every
have no
fucking
empirical
time you interrupt me.
evidence to say that there is a media and how much it is affecting the radio signals. You have no evidence.
You're
Brazzers,
afraid to
no
let me get
empirical
4 words
evidence.
out because I dismantle
just
you. I
saying that.
dismantled you.
Just,
You are just
Brazzers,
saying
he's just
that
showing you how you
from an
presuppose that
evidence
there
of
is no
ignorance.
medium. Bro,
You got
don't
dismantled.
have any evidence
Brazzers,
to
he just
suppose
showed
what
you
the media
how you
is
presuppose.
and how it's affecting the
Brazzers,
signal.
stop talking, dude. You got diarrhea of the mouth. Now he just showed you how you were presupposing what kind of medium that these radar beams or photons were going through. That's all he
You're
did just now.
presupposing that that's a problem. It's not a
No,
problem. There is no
we
media.
happen to know objectively that the propagation of light changes relative to medium. This is objective.
How is it objective? How have you proven that?
All you
And
have
how
to do
is
is
it
shoot a laser
problem?
through
So,
water,
How is
bud.
it a problem? with
Okay,
a
shoot a
signal
laser
going to
through
the moon
water,
and back?
bud.
How is it a
Shoot a
problem?
Well, if there's a more dense medium, it would affect
Is
the
there
amount
then?
every time. Every
WITSIT.
time.
Is there?
We're
Is
saying it
there
was
a
the
more
wrong
dense-
distance
WITSIT,
because
is
you
there a
knew
more
the
dense
distance
medium?
because of how fast you got
WITSIT,
the radar
WITSIT,
signal back.
Is
If it's
there
a different
more
medium,
dense
I
medium?
got to just talk over
How
this guy.
did you
'cause
do this? How
he
did you
showed
This
you
verify?
that.
does anyone in this room like
How
this
did
guy?
you verify that there is a more dense
Literally.
medium?
I
How
don't think
did you
anyone in
do
here
that?
even likes you, dude.
Cite it.
You.
Break it down
Cite
for
it.
him simply with it if he'll ever
Citation
stop talking.
that there is a more dense medium.
Okay. I'm not making a claim as
Cite
to
it or shut up. If you
I'm not
can't
making
back up your claiming,
Oh
why do
my
you get
God,
to carry
dude,
on?
shut the fuck
Why?
up, man.
Why do you get to just scoot past this stuff and carry
Stop
on?
talking,
You cannot
dude.
back up
Gotta
anything
stop
you are
talking, bro.
saying. You ask for
Off at
other
the
people
mouth,
for
nonstop. Can
citation.
we get like a
You
mod or
cannot give
something?
any citations yourself.
This is ridiculous.
I asked a question. You said that
I
it
just
could be
wonder why
bounced.
witches don't come and fuck with you guys more because you act like this.
Are you talking over me? I would like to know from WITSIT. You said that it could be bouncing off of the dome or whatever the hell you want. However
Acknowledge
you phrase that. Shut up!
Man, acknowledge the fact that you're presupposing what kind of medium's up there and the distance that are to these objects.
You're talking over me. Okay.
You're nowhere off at this
You're
point. You're
moderator.
gonna fucking concede.
Okay, so you had mentioned that you thought it could be bouncing off
With
the
it.
dome. I'm wondering why it coincidentally only bounces off the dome when the moon is in the way.
Okay, well, it doesn't only bounce off of the moon when the dome is in the way. So for you to support that claim, because you just made a positive claim, then you need to provide evidence of shooting the laser away from the moon, not under the moon, but at an angle. Because if you shoot something at an angle and it reflects back, guess what? It reflects at a greater angle away from you. You have to go to a different location, shoot it up, and see if you get anything back. And guess what? You don't have evidence for this because I've already tried to find it. You just make baseless assertions.
That's not true. It's a curved surface, and some of the signal will come straight back. There is a portion of the moon that will give you an exactly 180-degree incident angle. So what you're saying is objectively incorrect.
Well, you seem to still not understand what I'm saying because you're a moron. What I said was if you shoot it away from the moon, you would have to validate that it doesn't come back. Now, if you're underneath the moon, stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Oh, my God.
Best way to hold a discussion is to make
every
one
single
part
time.
at a
Every time. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
But you just want to gish gallop because everything you're saying is unverifiable, objectively
You're
not
such
shown,
an idiot, dude.
and just your supposition.
Okay, can I talk without you interrupting now?
No. I will interrupt you every time you try and drive.
Okay, well, I'm disengaging from the gamma
you
Melvin.
haven't verified.
Hey, man.
Right, Bazaar, you know if Jem was here, you wouldn't be doing this. Or he would jump in and say, come on, Bazaar, let him respond. So
yeah, but he's not. So what?
How would you know if you don't let me get more than 10 words out?
We are letting you get plenty of words out, WITSIT. Stop crying like a little baby.
I would have muted
Act
him
like
already.
an adult. Act like an adult.
Well,
and
you're
answer
not
things when you're asked to.
I
Or if
mean,
you
he's
don't
not
want to
letting
play
him
the
talk.
game,
He's just going off, talking
if this is not the
bro.
game you want to play,
can't be acting
then
like
take
this.
your ball.
Why you think you guys
somewhere
can't get
else.
flat earthers to
Because
come fuck
this
with
is
you
the
in here?
way
Shit
that
like
it
this.
should
Look
be
at him.
played in this room.
He's just going off. He's got diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah. And he's not going to let me respond this time either because he knows if I get my point out, I'm going to dismantle him. So you made the claim, your side has to make the claim that if you shoot the laser away from the moon, that nothing comes back. Now, you cannot shoot it from directly under the moon and then an angle away from the moon because it will come down with an angle away from you relative to the angle you shot it away from the moon. You would actually have to shoot it completely away from the moon. The moon would have to be nowhere close to you. You shoot a laser up and you see if anything comes back, and you would have to provide evidence that nothing ever comes back with the same amount of attempts that you attempt with the moon. Now, none of you have this. You just blindly believe it exists. So how about you cite that or you stop making the claim?
Why would anyone shoot a signal up into nothing?
Yeah, see, exactly. So why would they do it? To support your claim that if you do it, nothing comes back. How would you know that nothing comes back if you've never done it?
Why don't you go do it?
How would you know? How would you make the claim that nothing comes back if you've never done it?
What you can do is you can set your antenna up. And
no answer.
You're interrupting, you fucking hilarious cunt. All right, so you can shoot the since it's a lot of times it's a fixed antenna emplacement. You usually, I would say, set up your equipment ahead of time for anticipation of where the moon will be. So you just turn it on, wait till the moon gets in the way, and wait for the signal to appear.
Okay, so if you're gonna make the claim, write it down. Try to respond actually to what I'm saying this time, okay? If you're gonna make the claim that when you shoot it away from the moon, nothing comes back, you're gonna have to actually shoot it away from the moon and see that nothing comes back. You can't just say it.
We have done that. Yes, I
okay, so cite it. Cite it.
I've done that. No, I'm telling you, I've personally done that.
No, you haven't.
Don't need a citation if someone is claiming from personal experience that they have done this.
Well, someone claimed from personal experience that fairies visited them in their sleep. So I'm gonna have to ask you to cite it and give me some proof.
That is a citation. That is a citation. He is.
No, that's his anecdotal bullshit story, and he's lying.
It's empirical. Look up the word empirical. I'm giving you
empirical is testable, verifiable, repeatable.
I'm giving you the definition of empirical evidence. I'm giving you a witness statement that I have done
That's not empirical. Empirical is observable, repeatable, testable, and verifiable.
It is from someone.
This isn't falsifiable, so it's not empirical.
Experienced it. That is what empirical is.
Empirical means it's falsifiable. Your anecdotal story isn't falsifiable.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
Falsifiable means capable of being falsified. Hence, you can go.
Wow, you're so bright.
Shut up, cunt.
Or what? Or what? You're going to act like you're tough on Discord when you're literally a little bitty scrawny gamma male that would get hit straight in the mouth.
Shut the fuck up.
Straight in the mouth, bro.
You interrupt more than anybody in this room, cunt.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. Now, well, maybe not. Maybe maybe bizarre a little bit more. But
hurry up.
You're way up there. Now, what you no, you did succeed. You fucking made me lose it. God damn it.
Okay, so here's the problem. You're actually presupposing the characteristics of the medium and thus the duration. You actually take the duration of the time that it takes to get back, and then you get a distance from that. That's how you get your supposed distance claim to the moon being verified here. You actually take the duration, and then you get the distance, assuming the speed of light. Now, the speed of light is relative to the medium. This is objective. If you have to presuppose the characteristics of the medium and you can't validate it, then you don't actually know how it is that you got a distance from a duration because you don't know the accurate speed, because you don't know the accurate medium. In addition to that, you guys always baselessly assert that if you shoot it away from the moon, you get nothing back, but none of you have any empirical evidence of this at all. You just say it because you're zealots. Game over.
Yeah.
Mr. Moyak.
Game over.
Mr. Moyak, can I make this quick point that everyone, I don't know who else is saying something, but we're all talking about the moon bounce and radar and laser moon bounce, which is already in itself co-witnessing the same distance. And if you wanted to believe what Witches has said about using the distance based on the speed of light, then you can use a different method, which people have done. I've done a different method with the lunar eclipse. You got the same distance. Then there's people who've then there's people who've done all sorts of other methods, like sent things there and back and gotten the same distance. So whenever you have these different methods getting the same distance, you don't have to say that you're using some arbitrary medium that you don't know what it is, because we're getting the same distance with far different methods that don't even have anything to do with the medium.
Well, when you look at the eclipse.
Oh, God, I've been waiting to say one point, which so listening to the debate between WITSIT and Bizarre, and I'd like to say, even if WITSIT's wrong, Bizarre, you have to let people talk, and you can't, you're talking about people acting like children, and to be honest with you, without being biased, it was terrible from you to just not let him finish. It was an absolute shit show because of your behaviour. It really was.
Mirror.
Look, the absence of medium. Hold on, the absence of medium is a medium. Look, if I put a boat in some water,
this is what you're like.
If you put a boat in some water, right?
You is just like.
Please,
somehow you think you have special privileges.
Let me explain. Please, Bizarre.
Think you're superior somehow.
Responding to what you said to him.
Please let me speak. Bizarre. Please let me finish.
Brummy, he's responding.
Kosho, stop acting like you're moderating. When this guy interrupted me 50 times, you didn't say shit.
Yeah, bro. What Bizarre saying to you guys now?
Moderate WITSIT because he's interrupted me 50 million times already. Can you moderate him, please?
Please, Bizarre. Please, look. If I get a toy boat in some water, right, and that's in a medium, right? Would you agree with me?
No.
And that boat's traveling over the water.
No.
You wouldn't agree that boat's in a medium. Why not?
Fuck off, Brummy.
And then let's say you take away that sea, it's still a medium. And absence of medium is hold on. Because that boat would travel at a different speed. There's no medium for it to travel through. We all know this. This is an objective fact.
All right, I'm just gonna have to get out of here. This is bad.
Come on,
man. Brummy, wait 1 second, because Bizarre's making a point that could probably put an end to all this interrupting thing.
He's saying F you, Brummy, over and over. What's his point?
WITSIT. No one asked you a question.
What are you gonna do about it, Kosho? Oh, nothing. You're soft little
I'll mute you and then keep you in the room. There's no need to do that. I'm trying to make a point to give people. Brummy, stop for a second.
All right.
We make a point very quickly. Yeah. Well, Chemo, wait a second. Bizarre was just trying to say to you guys that the reason he's behaving that way is because he's acting the exact same way that you guys are treating him.
No.
Even if you don't want to admit it.
So you lying piece of shit.
Stop.
Listening to the whole
now
thing.
you're doing it to me.
Now
you're doing it to me. So wait, Brummy,
because
you're a liar. Brummy, wait 1 second.
Let me get my point.
Well, yeah, you will get your point out when I'm finished, Brummy. So what I'm asking you to do is don't act that way just because Bizarre's acting that way because you're acting that way. Just everyone stop doing it, and then everyone can have an adult conversation. Okay.
Okay, so I was having a
point. Bizarre was trying to say to WITSIT, right? How does he know that light doesn't travel through different speeds through different mediums? And I was trying to say to Bizarre, all right, a toy boat in some water will travel at a certain speed. Now, if you take away the medium, then that boat's going to travel at a different speed, and it's an objectable fact that we can all agree with. So he was not really like conceding that. He was trying to say that it travels through the same because there's no medium, presupposing there was space being empty of medium, which is still a medium in itself. The absence of a medium is still a medium. Now, we all know this is an objectable truth. That's all I want. And that's where he started spiraling because he realized he had a logical inconsistency.
Hey, Brummy, what's the friction coefficient of space?
Oh, my gosh. There we go.
Wow, dude. Well done. You made him spiral.
Yeah, it's just like, guys, all I want to say, dude, listen, sometimes I get to where I interrupt too, and I hate that I do it. I raise my voice. But if you guys want to pretend that I just do it from the jump, that's a lie. This is all recorded. I consistently tried to not interrupt, and every time I let him finish, Kosho, you didn't do anything about it. So don't act like you're trying to be a fair moderator. He said under his own admission that he was going to continuously, purposely interrupt me every time I started to talk. And you sat there and didn't say anything and defended it in the chat. And you're supposed to be a moderator.
Listen to me. The part about the interrupting, that part of the conversation is over. I said what I said, and everybody else in the room agreed that, okay, we'll stop doing it. Yeah, so shut up about the interrupting. Let's get back to the conversation.
Basically,
Kosho, if you're a moderator, next time someone's interrupting me, you should stop them.
Just be the bigger man, right? Even though you have to take all that on the chin, and it's not fair, and it's an injustice that you have to take on the chin and rise above. Because I mean, we could all just move on now, okay? I'm a witness to what happened. Bizarre clearly didn't understand that different mediums, the lack of medium, changes the speed of light. He didn't realise, did he?
Can I just say something? Right, you can't use the boat as an analogy because the boat's traveling through two mediums.
A medium,
not one.
Well, in the principle, you can show if you can show me anything that goes through a medium and doesn't change when the medium changes, then please present it. But that's an objective truth. So that I stand you to that now to debunk it.
According to the globe model, space is a medium.
Hold on.
Exactly, it's an absence of medium as well.
Hold on. what you're doing when you take the water away is not changing the medium. You're changing.
It's taking away the atmosphere. The atmosphere, the light that travels. Hold on. Light travels over the atmosphere at different rates, right? That's why we get refraction, we get light bending and stuff, because moisture and stuff reflects a lot of the light rays and it dissipates through the atmosphere, right? So we know the atmosphere does have an effect on light. Shut up, then. Shut up. Light does have an effect on the atmosphere.
I was replying to you, and you interrupted me. Yeah.
Okay.
I was giving you.
Okay. Let me know when you want to finish.
The answer again, and hopefully you will listen to it all this time.
You're trying to pipe up and tell me, right, that the analogy was shit, yeah? So I'm trying to put you in your place and explain to you that you can't do it on any fundamental principle, and you just can't fucking take it. You're not right. You're not right at all. Listen. You're arguing with fundamental principles.
Right. A boat
do you agree or disagree that light traveling through the atmosphere will travel at different rates? Yes or no?
Right. You said a boat, and then you said take away the water, right? A boat travels through two mediums. When you take away the water, you're not changing the medium. You're changing the number of mediums.
Let's shoot a laser through it. Let's shoot a laser through it if you want to get funny. Let's shoot a laser through water. Does it refract or not, you stupid idiot?
Let's get hyper specific.
Does light refract?
He was giving you
yes or no? He's an idiot, man. Just stop.
Yeah, I know. Broomy was giving you an analogy, man, and you're trying to like hyper focus on it and not be honest about the conversation. It was very simple. He said that space was nothing. Now, every time I say that in this room, that you guys claim that space is a privation, the whole room spirals, including Coach. I was like, no, it's not nothing. No one claimed it's nothing, okay? And technically they don't. They say there's no such thing as a perfect vacuum. There's still a few hydrogen atoms per cubic meter. That's objectively a medium. And even if it was literally absence of anything, it's still a medium, okay? So there is a medium there. You're presupposing characteristics of the medium. And actually, according to your fairy tale religion, there's a lot of pressure here. And as it goes up, the medium changes. There's a differential. It's all a medium, though. So whenever you shoot it up, you have to presuppose the medium. That's the only way you could ever know the supposed speed of light and then detect or actually get the distance out of the duration of time it takes to get back. It literally 100% objectively, not debatable at all, requires the characteristics of the medium to come up with a distance.
I like how I already responded to this, and
nobody's.
Brummy, then wait until people are finished talking.
That meme is amazing. I love that meme. It's amazing. Look at it. That is amazing. If he dies, he dies.
Concede that you're presupposing the medium, and the medium matters, and what affect it.
Well, what Kosho's response was actually to divert to something completely different. That was your response.
They won't address the point. I know.
They can't. It's objective. That's why the whole room's quiet. And that's why they let Bizarre interrupt, because they knew they didn't know what to say back.
Nobody's saying anything because nobody can get to say anything because you guys just jump in the whole load of bullshit.
Oh, well, here's your chance to say something. Do you have to know the characteristics of the medium to know the distance? It's laughable.
You got time to say something, guys. Go ahead. Now's your chance.
All right, guys, let's just decompress. All right, it's been a bit hectic in here. Let's have a bit of drama.
Don't let them off this fucking point, man.
Bro, it's stressful, man. People need to de-escalate from what's just happened.
No, Brummy,
WITSIT's just slaughtered. No, it's over for the WITSIT's just manhandled the entire room, bro. It's over.
Silence until they concede.
Not over, Brummy. We're going to continue moving forward.
It's done.
So we're just looking for the
globals. That's flat, man. You know what? We can't prove the globe. That's more what's been said there. Not that it's not proved the Earth flat, and it's just not adequate proof that it's definitely what they say. That's it.
WITSIT. Contrary to your statement that only 1 in 5,000 returns, I posted a video that shows a continuous string of probably like 20 minutes of returning signals.
Bro, we're not addressing shit else until you guys can see that you're presupposing the medium that it's going through and that it would affect your claimed distance.
Well, we're eliminating the fact that it could be the dome first off. And
you're not eliminating that until you can acknowledge that you presuppose the characteristics of the medium.
No, I can't eliminate that because, again, under eyewitness testimony, we have facts that the signal returns when you hit the moon, and when you don't hit the moon, when you miss the moon, when you aim away from the moon.
If I was a glober, if I was a glober and I was defending the globe now, I'd say to WITSIT, I'd say, WITSIT, where do we get the proof? What?
Listen, crystal meth fueled addict, shut up.
Wow.
So,
what a loser.
How come the signal doesn't seem to bounce back when you don't aim at the moon?
How about you actually send some evidence that... See, I explained this to you in really simple terms. Let me do it again. If you're underneath the moon and you shoot a laser at the moon and then you tilt it where it's away from the moon, what you've done is change the angle. Now, if you change the angle and it reflects back, it's going to reflect back at an angle relative to the angle you shot it up at. So you can't expect it to come right back down. You shot it at an angle. What you would have to do is shoot this in the air when the moon's not there and show that you never get anything back. So do you have that evidence, yes or no? Of course not. It doesn't exist.
It's like a way of checking if your data is accurate, because you have to falsify it also. When you get the reading you get, yeah, that's fair enough, but then you also have to falsify all possible variables. And obviously, most people that are doing the test just think about getting the result. They don't think about falsifying the results. They get what they get, and they don't really think more of it. So when questioned on it, it's natural for most people to say, "Oh yeah, has it been a, you know, there's no way to, you know, to say, or no evidence they've got." They haven't done it. They've been told to do, which is go and get the results they must get for the argument.
Thanks for interrupting me last time when I tried to make this point.
Let's get the data on the table.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. When I brought this up a second ago or a couple minutes ago, you wanted to interrupt me. But again, when you use other methods, including not shooting anything and using simply the time it takes to go across the shadow and the time it takes during its entire orbit, you can compare these two values. You can get a distance based on that. And that distance is the same distance you get when you shoot a laser or a radio wave. So these two facts tell you that the fact that they corroborate with one another tell you that the assumptions that you claim we're making aren't incorrect assumptions at all.
Okay, so let's get
assumptions. They're correct values.
Okay, so since you at least are inadvertently admitting that you can't actually empirically substantiate the radar one, and your argument is look, the numbers are the same as this other observation we have. That's your actual argument. So then we'll throw it out. We understand that the Globers can't respond to the fact you have to presuppose the characteristics of the medium.
No,
so let's go to Kosho's second claim.
He's not saying that. He's saying it's not presupposed in their world because they've already gone up and seen the curvature. And they're not going off presuppositions, but into our world, obviously, it's a presupposition, but they don't view it as a presupposition because to them, they've already gone up and seen the world. So it's already
neither of those things. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't imply what WITSIT said, and I didn't say what Brummy said.
How else would you
just listen to what I actually said and use those words?
Kosho, what you actually said was when you look at the eclipse, those numbers correlate with the numbers of the supposed radar, which is how we know that they're true. That's exactly what you said.
I didn't say that's how we know it's true. I'm telling you that makes it true. The fact that you have other methods that corroborate the same values tell you that this debate that you're having doesn't even be conceded by anybody. Because it's not how you know it's true.
Do their methods use satellites?
No. This method was done 2,000 years ago.
Okay, Kosho, what exactly is this second method?
Yeah,
be specific.
You use the simple fact that the moon is moving through the shadow, and you determine the time it's taken to move through that shadow, and you use the size of the Earth as you know it to determine what length or what distance it's traveling.
Ding, ding, ding!
And then you
presuppose.
That, and there's no ding, ding, ding yet, asshole.
Yes, there is.
And then you fucking use the time it takes to go around the entire orbit, which is about 655 hours.
Right. So you have to presuppose how long
ratio of them are, and you'll get the distance of the circumference that is traveling.
Right. So you have to presuppose.
Then you divide that by 2 pi, you get the fucking distance.
Wow, you have to presuppose the orbital trajectory and how long it takes for it to get back. You have to presuppose the size of the Earth. You have to presuppose that the eclipse is because of physical obstruction of the globe Earth that you know the size of. You just have to breify the entire model. What a cool story.
Yep.
And once again, when you do this, Brummy, once again, when you make these presuppositions, I'm responding to what WITSIT said to me. You gotta realize that when people are gonna respond to each other.
That's what it's like to
Brummy, wait a second.
So you need to bring
Brummy, wait a second. Great, Brummy. I'm gonna respond to WITSIT before I even listen to what you said. So those presuppositions that once again you're claiming are presuppositions, they give you the same fucking value. Okay, the same fucking value that are based also on supposed presuppositions.
Yeah,
there's something going on here, guy.
Yeah, you're really dense. We get it. But the actual values, they came from the phenomena. See, eclipses happened long before you came up with the presupposed values. See, we looked at the
It's like saying, it's like saying you see the sun, and you're because you've quantified the sun. Is he gone? Any WITSIT?
No, he just cut out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So okay, look, you're presupposing all of these things, and you said, no, you get the exact effing number. Okay, yeah, because we looked at the phenomena, and that's where you got your presupposed metrics from, to then look at the phenomena and say, look, it matches the metrics, is retarded, because that's where you got the metrics from.
It's like clamping your stem on something. You saw the sun; it behaved in a certain way. You've clamped your stem on it. You've done some sort of measurements that have, that you've refined over time, because the values did change as well, which you don't teach in school. These numbers were they went through different sorts of refinements, so they call. But there was a long time where they thought they was accurate. So it's always subject to change, and that's why science stays a lot of humility in that, and say it's always subject to change, because it's not 100% accurate. Things can be misinterpreted to give you correlations where there is none.
Okay, WITSIT, I just posted a video. You had a theory or a hypothesis or a statement where the angle of the laser has some impact on how many photons you receive back.
No, cool straw man, though. That's a straw man, so no hold on anything.
Okay, so, no, actually, hold on.
No, that's a straw man. It's a straw man. Straw man.
If I aim, god damn,
I'm just going to leave. If you try to argue something I didn't argue, lying and saying I said it, I'm going to leave.
Why don't you just listen, and then you can correct me?
I already heard you say it. That's not what I said.
Okay, what did you say?
Okay, what I said was, listen very carefully, okay? What I didn't say that the angle you shoot it determines the photons. What are you talking about? What I said was, you made the claim that when you shoot the laser away from the moon, you get nothing back. You're going to have to prove that. You can't prove that by being underneath the moon and then shooting the laser at the moon and then shooting another laser at an angle away from the moon, because if you shoot an angle away from the moon while the moon's directly above you, then the reflection of that angle will be relative to the angle away. So it's going to fall way down away from you because you shot it at an angle. Now you straw man.
Okay.
So try again.
Okay, so that's fine. You did not say it. I agree. Okay, but you're still implying that my angle of incident is going to cause the laser to bounce off the object to a new location. Now, my question is, with the video I posted moments ago at, let's see, what time was it? Oh, okay. I posted at 11:12. The angle of my laser to my reference to my camera, I moved my camera around, and I can still see the laser bouncing off of the object I'm aiming it at, no matter where I move it. And if I change the laser's position, I can still see the reflection of the laser off of the object. And these are flat objects, not even hemispherical objects. So you can see a laser on a target, and the photons make it back to you no matter what angle you're at.
That's not okay. You're not listening. Okay, so if you shoot a laser up towards where you see the moon, and there's a physical container there, and it reflects it back, that doesn't prove that it hit the moon. You would actually have to shoot the laser away from the moon and see if anything came back. You guys don't have the evidence for this because it hasn't been done. Now, what you guys will say is that it's been done, but it hasn't. You'll just blindly say it. And then I said, and I went even further, the reason that I brought up the angle was, if the moon is directly above you and you shoot it at an angle away from the moon, of course it's not going to come back to where you are because you shot it at an angle. It's going to come back down at an angle relative to the angle you shot it further away from you, okay? So if you're going to make the claim that it's only hitting the moon and coming back, you need to shoot the laser when the moon's nowhere to be found, the same amount of time it takes to get one back, and see if anything comes back. And until you can provide that evidence, you're just a religious zealot.
Okay, I just demonstrated with my little test here I did in my house that you can see that laser no matter what angled incident I put the laser on. If
you still aren't listening, it's just sad.
If I was hitting the dome, or if I was hitting whatever the fuck it was that you're contending will reflect that angle and down to a new
bro. Listen, if somebody took a cookie out of your jar, listen, let me ask you this. If someone took a cookie out of your jar, if two people come up to you and says, oh, I took cookies out of the jar, bro, let me try and explain something to you, because you're not getting it.
Funny, please.
You're not getting it. Let me try and explain it a different way. If somebody comes and took cookies out of your jar, you want to...
Thank you. So, I have an angle, and that laser is changing, or my camera angle is changing. I'm doing both. And I can still see that dot no matter where I am in the room. So no matter what the incident angle is, I'm still going to see where it bounces off of the object. It will return to me 180 degrees from where I sent it. Those photons will come back.
Yeah, so if I shoot it away from the object, right, will it come down back to you?
Yes.
So if I shoot it completely at an angle, away from the object, all the way away from it, it's going to come back to you.
Yes, if that object is a thing.
No, you're shooting it away from the object, though.
Off of it, and those photons will bounce off in roughly a full 180-degree field.
No, when you shoot it away from the object.
The dome, not the fucking moon.
Yeah, okay, so if you shoot it away from the moon at an angle, it's going to come down relative to that angle. This is objective.
It will return 180 degrees back to me no matter where I aim it, as long as I hit an object.
Oh, really?
Really, I just showed you that in video form.
You shot it away from an object and it came back to you?
Shot it at another object, not the object and not my target, not the moon. If I hit an object with a laser, that laser will illuminate said object.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not seeing any illumination. You don't even see illumination on the moon in your little stupid fairy tale, okay? We don't see illumination, okay? So you're making a very stupid analogy of something on a localized scale much smaller where the laser would be way, way bigger than what we actually use in the proportionate size of the Earth. This is so sad. And then...
Your contention, though, was that you would not be...
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Your contention was that the angle of incident going out to this other object would make it reflect to somewhere else.
That's not what I said. You're still straw manning me 10 minutes later because you're actually incompetent. I don't even think you're dishonest. I think you're incompetent. So stop. Just stop. Just retire.
The dome is the other object. The thing that you say is reflecting the signal. The thing that makes it bounce to another angle. If you would listen instead of trying to fucking strawman your own point.
Do you have any evidence that if you shoot the laser straight up away from the moon that nothing comes back?
Yes.
Okay, give that evidence, please. Cite it.
I'm going to have to find it, and I will cite...
It doesn't exist.
I will cite, what's his name?
It doesn't exist.
I will cite Bazar.
Who?
Bizarre.
The guy
You'll cite his anecdotal lie? Wow. It doesn't exist, guys. It literally doesn't exist.
On that video that I...
so dumb with it gets anything Moyoc does is going to be anecdotal because it's him alone doing it. So it's an
well, why didn't NASA do this, though? Why didn't NASA do it?
We're talking about Moyoc.
Okay, but I know that dude's a liar who hides behind anonymity on the internet, so I'm not going to care what he has to say. Why didn't NASA do it?
I don't care what NASA did or didn't do.
So you don't have any empirical evidence of it, then?
Moyoc demonstrated something, and he
didn't demonstrate shit.
Is anecdotal because he did it himself.
He claimed that he shot a laser straight up when there was no moon there, but he doesn't have any proof of it. He doesn't even have it documented.
Why do people have to do things for you?
No, this is your claim, you idiot! Why do I go do your claim? Why would I have to go prove your claim?
I didn't say you had to. Why does someone have to do it for you?
No, you have to do it for yourself when you make the claim. It's called burden of proof.
Yeah, but then why do they have to show it to you if they're doing it for themselves?
Because they're lying. They didn't actually do it because when you're making the claim and everyone, hey, listen, bro, everyone in this.
Someone has done. How do you know what someone has done and hasn't done with it?
How do you know what he has or hasn't done?
I don't. I'm asking.
So then you agree that you don't know if you shoot the laser.
No. Why does someone have to do something for a flat earther? Why can't they do it for themselves?
All right, let me repeat this for your remedial dumbass, okay? You're the one making the claim. Your side's making a... Stop interrupting me. Your side's making the claim that we shot a laser at reflectors on the moon that were put there in 69. That's your... You have the burden of proof, and in order to validate that it's hitting the reflectors and not something else solid up there, you would have to shoot a laser away from the moon and get nothing back with the same rate, right? The same amount of times that you've done it as when you shoot it at the moon, but that's never been done.
They do that anyway when they do.
Cite it.
Wait a minute.
When they hang on, just let me get this out, Chris. When they shoot a laser at the moon, it isn't hitting just the retroreflector. It's I think 3 kilometers across the laser beam when it hits the moon. So some hits the reflector and some hits the surface of the moon.
Yeah, but what we're saying is, it's
very obvious which is which.
Yeah, but Jim, what we're saying is it could be hitting something else solid, right, before you get there. And so in order to show that it's not, you would have to let the moon not be in the sky or be far away from you, and then you have to shoot the laser up and see if nothing comes back, right? Because when you shoot it to the moon, something doesn't always come back. It's actually very rare.
You would have to have evidence that there was something in the way, wouldn't you?
No, you would have to have evidence that there.
What do you mean, no? Why would you think? Why would you test for there being something in the way? Why would that be on your list of possible results?
Because the necessary antecedent pressure is containment.
If there's no reason to believe that there's something else in the way,
there is a reason to believe it. The necessary antecedent pressure is containment.
I feel like Bizarre's example.
No such thing.
Jem, I feel like Bizarre's example. He's telling me there's 2 hot baths, right? One of them would scorch me and burn me to death, for example. And one of them's just warm. And he tells me that one, he's done it. So I'm going to ask him, like, have you put your finger in the other? Have you tested it yourself? And I'm just asking him before jumping in his bath. Have you put your finger in the other bath, mate?
Why are we talking about bath?
Because I'm trying to give you an example. Because shining the laser at the point, right, and you get the reflection. He's saying you have to also test the other areas that you don't get the same rate, which you do on the moon.
That happens as a part of testing it hitting the retroreflector. It also hits other areas.
Yes, of the moon, but you have to shoot it away from the moon and see if you...
So you need to test it. You need to test that you aim it at different directions, such as the lower part of the moon, the bottom of the moon, the space, up in the air, at different angles, just to get different results and see that falsify the results. You know, the only... That's what he's asking for, and that's what he's asking for, evidence.
That's a natural progression of taking these sort of measurements.
Look, it's very simple. It's so simple. It's so simple.
The retroreflector straight off first time.
But here's the deal. It's so simple.
The first time they hit it, it took them months to find it.
Yeah, I know, because and then rarely do they ever even find it. So here's the actual thing, right? So if you're shooting it up and it reflects back, okay, it's hitting something solid to reflect back. We all agree on that. You guys claim that it's the moon and that it's a solid rock that just spins and we never see but one side of it. Okay, that's your claim. So in order to validate that it's hitting the moon, the hyperlogical thing to do, the empirical scientific thing to do, right, would be go and test it away from where the moon is and see if anything comes back.
So shooting to prove that
Jem said that they have done that, but I'm saying you're asking for the evidence of that. Show us people doing that. Let's see that falsification. That's all that WITSIT's asking for, but nobody can provide it because it hasn't been done, and that's his point.
Well,
his point is,
hold on a minute.
He wants to show us.
Okay, so where's your evidence that it hasn't been done?
No, where's your evidence that it has been done?
You've literally just claimed that this second from me. You said,
where's your evidence that Santa Claus doesn't exist?
All he's asking for is the evidence of this, and it's not been done.
You said, okay.
You've just made the claim it's not been done. So how do you know that?
Because, Jem, when WITSIT asked Bizarre to show us him pointing in a different direction and getting the results, he didn't have the evidence or the citation or the. Sorry, no, Jem, honest, because he said I can show you someone else doing it.
Why would he have that?
But if you're going to make an anecdotal story and you're coming to me as a witness, as a person telling me that I've done this myself, the first thing you should really do is have everything replicated there for him to digest. And that would be, but he never had it, Jem. That's the point. He didn't have anyone a video of falsifying it by putting a different direction, Jem.
Again, so what? How many fucking times? So fucking what?
Well, we've explained to you. We explained to you why it's important.
what you're saying is that we can't, any evidence that we present, all WITSIT has to do is dream up some poppycock story about how something else might have caused this.
No.
And ask for extra detail to the nth degree of any piece of evidence, and then said piece of evidence is just rejected.
Dude, this is very simple, right? This is very simple. If you're shooting a laser, listen, it's so simple. If you're shooting a laser at the moon and it's coming back, okay, the way that you would show that for sure what happened was it hit the moon and came back again. Because it's just subjective. It's just objective.
It's not. It's completely.
All right, peace out.
Hold on, it's not objective. It's completely subjective.
No, it's not.
No,
I'm not, because if you're going to not interrupt me,
where is it written? Where is it written that this is not just your idea? It's written down. It's objective. Where is that?
It's logically objective. Okay, and this is why. This is why. This is why.
Absolutely.
Do you deny refraction, Jem? Jem, are you denying refraction?
Doesn't matter. Let's finish this point first.
I'll leave if I can't get the point out because I'm getting a headache.
You've made the point. You keep telling us. You keep telling us that your personal thoughts on something that you've just dreamed up are an objective truth. They're not.
No,
they're completely subjective. And if you say this is objective, demonstrate that. Show us where this is written down, that this is the requirement to produce a meaningful result from this test.
Objectively, you can't make the claim of exclusivity to the moon without showing that it doesn't happen away from the moon. You're making a claim of exclusivity, but you haven't demonstrated it yet. You have the burden of proof because you're making the positive claim that it's reflecting off a physical surface of the moon, yet you haven't actually shown that to be true.
What we know is that we get a different result from the surface of the moon to the reflector. That's all we need to show.
Hey, Jim, real quick, when somebody has a doubt...
I disagree, Jim.
Hold on.
Pretending that this is happening not because of the moon and it might be something else, and nobody's noticed this.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Childish fantasy that should be just laughed at.
If somebody says they've definitely proven something, if I ask them a question on it, just say, "Have you actually just?"
Did somebody say they've definitely proven something?
I just
say somebody actually used those words.
Well, he said himself that he'd done it himself, and he was a witness that this was an absolute truth, and he was saying that he's done it himself. So that WITSIT must trust what he's saying because he's done this. And then when WITSIT asked him for said evidence of him just falsifying, just to test the equipment using. You're making a test on the moon. You should test that on other things also. To see that you're testing the equipment. It's called calibrating on it. So we should have calibrated his laser as well, and have the calibration numbers. But he hasn't got any of that.
Respond to something you keep saying.
We can test this. We can test this really easily. When you aim for the moon and you miss, that's when you're testing.
Yeah, they want evidence that that's actually happened at some point, right?
Okay,
else we can't possibly believe that there's a moon. Because it's entirely reasonable to think that this is caused by an invisible dome and not by the moon, which is entirely reasonable to think is not a solid object.
I think the moon itself could reflect. The moon reflects a lot of light. Hold on, the moon reflects a lot of light.
It's nonsense.
I would say that. Jem, I would say
Spider-Man's real.
Not a dome, then, Jem. Not a dome. What about the moon itself? It's a solid surface, and it does reflect like a light. Hold on, lights do. Listen, I've seen the moon illuminate the entire place where I was. And basically we know that light spreads out as it distances. So let's say it does reflect off the moon, and some photons probably do scatter back into your location, and you just happen to catch that photon, and that's why it takes so long. So you guys kind of have to think like that's kind of logically consistent. That it might just be a random photon from a reflection off the moon.
What we have to do, this is how we have to think. We have to completely make up a story without having any knowledge of how this is performed whatsoever and say it might be because of this. So we need to rule this made-up thing that I've just completely made up.
How do we know it's not? How do we know it's not?
Because you just made it up, you wanker!
He hasn't falsified it, though, so we can't say he hasn't. That's the point.
But you know that you literally just made that up.
And he can't falsify it because he hasn't got the proof for his claim.
Why should he need to? You just made it up. What reason
because
is
it's
there
an
anyone?
anecdotal story. It's an
Why
anecdotal
do people
story.
need to falsify things that you know you have made up?
if you have personally measured that reflection and you have personally done the testing, and someone asks you a question about, oh, did you collaborate your equipment? Did you test it? Did you do this? And before you've done the job, and they say no, or it has been done, you just have to trust me. That's not adequate to coming into a debate to actual truth.
This is why we're at the point that I always say we're at, aren't we? Where you don't care about what's true. That's why this is going on. That's why you're quite happy to sit there and make something up and then say, you need to debunk the thing I've just made up, or the thing you're saying is not true.
Are you going to jump in?
That tells us, let me finish. I haven't made the point. That tells us that you aren't interested in what's true. You're interested in trying to effect some sort of win on the internet.
Jeb, if you turn around to me and says there's two holes here, you jump in. One of them's like you land in loads of nice cool water. The other one's a burning hell. And you said, just trust me. I haven't tested any of these, but just jump in it. Just trust me. Just jump in that one. How would I? I'm going to say, oh, where's your evidence? Could you just show me that you've just tested it at least?